is good, everyone? What is good? Welcome back to another video. Today, we're jumping back into the Go Battle League arena, this time once again into the Retro Cup to try out a spicy triple dragon team. Now, this team was recommended to me by someone in my Twitch chat during one of our live streams, and also one of the chatters did mention that it may have been a potential Home Slice Henry line. So shouts out to the chatter, shouts out to potentially Home Slice Henry. I looked for his video, it hasn't featured it yet, but if this is a line that he will be featuring in the future, or if he was in the kitchen chefing it up and he created this, shouts out to him. I want to make sure I give credit where it is due. But hopping into our team today, we're going to have Haxorus on the lead running Dragon Tail. So that's critical for this team. As you'll see in the video, even in negative matchups, having Dragon Tail on your Haxorus will allow you to put heavy damage onto any Pokemon. And this is a good time also to reiterate that nothing in this limited meta resists Dragon. On the safe swap, we're going to have our Dragonair. Dragonair is able to charge up energy extremely quickly while also dealing heavy neutral to super effective damage with the fast move of Dragon Breath. So it's going to be able to, at very least, do some chip damage onto the Pokemon it's aligned against, and at most flip switch, gain shield advantage for you, if not a combination of those things. I do also want to point out that my Dragonair is not Shadow. If you do have access to a Shadow Dragonair, I would definitely opt for that because the fast move damage or pressure is going to be more significant from a Shadow Pokemon. And then in the back, this line is kind of fluid. So I say in the back, Altaria is sometimes going to be our swap-in, as you'll see in the battles. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop straight into the first battle. Diving straight into the first battle, we have Haxorus on the lead against Jellicent. Now, this is one of those instances that we were talking about in the intro where even in the more difficult matchups, having Dragon Tail on your Haxorus is going to allow you to put heavy fast move pressure on your opponent. I do go for the Night Slash here, anticipating that they might be no shielding may have been a bit of a misplay, as I'm going to allow the Haxorus to go down with one Shadow Ball. I was also reading it may have potentially been a shield bait, so we're off to a little bit of a rough start here. We're going to be bringing in our Altaria here just because our Dragonair doesn't have anything that can touch the Jellicent. Like this, we're going to be able to reach this Sky Attack, fire it off into the opponent's counter swap, which will be an Altaria of their own. We're able to grab the final shield, and we will be matching one shield here, as even though the opponent is down all shields, having the Altaria aligned against our Dragonair endgame would be horrible for us, as that Dragon Breath damage will be able to add up extremely quickly. Our Altaria survives on a singular HP as we pivot into our Dragonair, anticipating the opponent bringing in their final Pokemon, and they will reveal it to be the Pelipper. Pelipper going straight for the Hurricane, and we're able to successfully block all of that energy by expending our final shield. Opponent bringing in the Jellicent, we're forced to fire back-to-back Aqua Tails here. We're going for the Aqua Tail because it's single resisted as opposed to the Body Slam that would be double resisted by the Ghost type Pokemon. Opponent building up to another charge move. This is only going to be a Weather Ball. Will we survive? Yes, we do, as Dragonair able to reach another charge move. This Body Slam will allow Dragonair to KO the Pelipper and call game. Well played by the opponent. Thank you for the match. Hopping into the next battle, we have Haxorus on the lead against Miltank, and a shiny Miltank at that. Love the spice. Looking good. Miltank running Rollout, more than likely running Body Slam as well as Thunderbolt. Might find that some are also running Ice Beam in place of the Thunderbolt. And here we should be throwing the Breaking Swipe as soon as we get to it. We want to debuff the opponent as quickly as possible. I make the mistake by continuing to build, not throwing the Breaking Swipe. Here I am expending one shield as the opponent has already expended one shield, and we're going to be throwing the next Breaking Swipe on CMP tie, putting shield pressure on the opponent, and they do double shield their Miltank, playing for switch here, and I'm more than happy to let the Haxorus go. It's done its job for me. We can come in with our Dragonair, farm up, get an energy lead on whatever awaits us in the back, but the opponent able to get to another body slam. This is going to be double debuffed, so I'm not going to respect the damage here from Miltank. As the opponent reveals their own Dragonair, but they get the shiny buff. Is this going to be detrimental for us as our Dragonair reaches the body slam, fires it off into the opponent? They survive on 1 HP. It's the shiny buff, the blessings of the shiny, as they KO us with the body slam. We bring in our Altaria, farm the opponent down, and in the back, they're running heat. They're running that Haunter, but they choose to not delay the inevitable as we call game. Well played by the opponent. Thank you for the match. Hopping into the next battle, we have Haxorus on the lead against Lickitung. This is a great lead for us. Opponent safe swaps into a Dragonair, and Dragonair gets absolutely deleted by the Dragon Tails. We survive with our Haxorus on a singular HP, non-shiny buff, blessings of our ancestors, reach the breaking swipe, which we will be firing it off into the opponent's Lickitung that has now swapped back in. They lick us down, pause, continue, and we will be bringing in our Dragonair here. Dragonair against the debuffed Lickitung. This is a good matchup for us as the opponent will be able to reach the body slam here. We're going to continue building up energy before throwing our charge move, as we are very nearly at the back-to-back body slams, but want to make sure that we can KO the opponent before they reach another charge move, but we're unable to do so. Forced to expend a shield. We saw how much the first body slam did. It was a decent amount of damage. That may have been a misplays. It will be the lantern waiting for us in the back. We build up to back-to-back charge moves on our Dragonair before pivoting into our Altaria. Altaria will be able to soak these Thunderbolts. They are neutral given the dragon flying typing of Altaria, but as you'll see, the Thunderbolts plus the sparks will start to add up as we are now in surf range. We're able to reach this sky attack, which will be critical for us, gaining the opponent's first shield. And remember, we do have the back-to-back charge moves on our Dragonair, as we're going to swap into our Dragonair, fire off the body slam immediately, grab the opponent's final shield. We're able to throw the second before the opponent reaches another charge move. This body slam will be easily KOing the opponent's lantern, and they choose to close their app, I do believe, as it takes a while for us to get to the body slam. Opponent not bringing in their final Pokemon, and I have to be transparent here. This is not me BMing. This is me not realizing that the opponent still had one Pokemon left. And if they would have stayed, they more than likely could have taken that match, as I finally do realize that we still have to Dragon Breath them down as Dragonair calls game. Well played by the opponent. Thank you for the match. Hopping into the next battle, we have Haxorus on the lead against Double, the GOAT. Pseudo GOAT, the sheep, but the GOAT, as the opponent pivoting into their Coffagrigus. The Coffin will not be appreciating these breaking swipes, as we will be able to debuff the opponent's attack, and we also get through one Dragon Tail for free. Opponent not throwing on the best timing. We now have the opponent very low. We're going to fish for the boost here, anticipating that they will let it go. We throw the Night Slash, KO the Coffin, but unable to get the boost, unfortunately. As the opponent brings back in their Double, we're going to build up to the breaking swipe, unable to get there before the opponent reaches their first body slam. Double putting in work, able to KO our Haxorus, as we will now be bringing in our Altaria. Our play here, bringing in the Altaria, is, the thought is, Altaria is going to be able to resist the double kick damage given our flying typing, double kick being a fighting type move, and we will expend our final shield to block that payback from the opponent. Opponent going to allow the GOAT to go down, pivoting out just before Double goes down, and they reveal their final Pokemon. It will be the Frostlass. So this is looking like a GG for us. Opponent keeping their Frostlass nice and safe in the back, waiting for all shields to be down before bringing it in to absolutely Exodia obliterate our team. Frostlass is a little bit difficult, especially when all shields are down, as well as when Haxorus is already KO'd. Haxorus does put crazy pressure on the opponent with Dragon Tail, and Dragonair is actually able to win the twos against Frostlass, but here, all shields down, Frostlass in the back. That's a GG, well played by the opponent. Thank you for the match. Hopping into the next battle, we have Dunsparce on the lead against our Haxorus, and here's a great example. Opponent swaps in Frostlass, and our Haxorus is ahead on energy. We're able to debuff the opponent, and as you see, the Dragon Tails are absolutely adding up. Will we shield here to protect our Haxorus? Yes, we will shield, able to get to another charge move. This may have been a misplay, as from this range, I can definitely go ahead and farm down the opponent. Will this be a critical misplay that flips the script of the game? We'll have to wait and see. As the opponent brings back in their Dunsparce, we get to the breaking swipe, able to reach the breaking swipe, but before the opponent fully rolls out us down, and we're going to allow our Haxorus to get rollouted down, as we are going to be bringing in the Dragonair. Remember, the opponent now is debuffed in their attack, and like this, they see the writing on the wall. They're not going to delay the inevitable, calling game. Thank you for the match, and well played by them. Hopping into the next battle, we have Noctowl, the wretched Noctowl, on the lead against our Haxorus. Haxorus going to be able to easily outpace the opponent's Noctowl. We're going to be firing off the breaking swipe as soon as we get it, debuffing the opponent as it was a CMP tie. Will we respect this damage? Yes, we will. Question is, are we going to be able to farm the opponent down from this range? Answer is probably not. We're going to, as we will be reaching the charge move at the same time as the opponent. We're throwing off the Night Slash here, fishing for the boost, anticipating that they are going to let it go, and they do let it go. Opponent going for the farm down, able to get the farm down with Toxicroak. And this isn't absolutely terrible for us, as we can bring in our Altaria. We're going to be resisting the opponent's counters. Will we respect the damage from the potential Sludge Bomb? We do. We're now fully shields down to the opponents too, but this is looking like a great matchup for us, as they do pivot into their final Pokemon, and it will be the Shadow Swampert. Swampert not building up to its big charge move. I'm assuming they're running Earthquake in this instance, so they're instead firing off the Hydro Cannons. Hydro Cannons will start to add up in terms of chip damage, but at this point, we're not too stressed about the Hydro Cannons, being that we are resisting them, as we can comfortably farm down the opponent here. We're also firing off our Sky Attacks. It may be unnecessary. We will see, as the opponent is now fully shields down. They don't have very much, if any, energy on their Toxicroak. We're going to pivot into our Dragonair before our Altaria gets farmed down. Opponent brings in their Toxicroak. We Dragon Breath them down. Brings in their Swampert. We Dragon Breath it down as Dragonair calls game. Well played by the opponent. Thank you for the match. And there's just another first-hand example of how absolutely oppressive Dragon Breath is as a fast move. Hopping into the next battle, we have Altaria on the lead against our Haxorus. This is a decent lead for us because we will be able to outpace the opponent, reaching this first breaking swipe, debuffing the opponent. We do grab their shield as they are going to make a play for switch, and we immediately are pivoting into our Altaria. We're able to draw out the opponent's Regirock, and this is not great for us, as one Stone Edge will be dealing heavy, super effective damage onto us. We're going to be able to reach our Sky Attack and throw it off before the opponent reaches another charge move here. Sky Attack will be resisted by the Rock type, but we're going to put them in near Sky Attack range here. Will they be respecting the potential KO? No, they do not, as they throw with a singular HP. Great counting from the opponent, great move timing as well, as the opponent able to KO us with their Regirock. And from here, we're going to bring in our Haxorus once again, as Lock-On is not going to deal significant damage onto us. Bring in our Dragonair, expend our first shield, fully farm down the opponent's Altaria, and have one charge move, or nearly one charge move, ready for whatever the opponent has in the back, and it will be the Shadow Machamp. Question is here, will we be able to reach a second Body Slam before we get fully countered down? We grab the opponent's last shield. Dragonair able to survive on a singular HP, the blessings of its ancestors, reaching this Body Slam, KOing the opponent's Machamp as Dragonair calls game. Well played by the opponent. Thank you for the match. There you see Dragonair holding on for absolute life for the win for our team. As we hop into the next battle, we have Jellicent, familiar lead against our Haxorus. Haxorus is going to be firing this first breaking swipe into the opponent's swap-in, which will be the Lickitung. Lickitung being one of the most, if not the most popular Pokemon in this meta, as it is ranked #1 on PV poke, it does have neutral to plus matchups against pretty much everything in the meta, making it an extremely great pick, as we will be able to KO the opponent's Lickitung here, but we actually undercharge that move because we want the opponent to KO us here. We'd rather get KO'd with our Haxorus, get an energy lead, as opposed to allowing the opponent to farm us down with their Jellicent or whatever Pokemon they have in the back. So that's what the thinking was there. It didn't lag out or anything like that. We will be greeted by the opponent's Abomasnow, and this is going to be very difficult for us, as Abomasnow is a core breaker for this team. Any Ice-type Pokemon, as we will be firing off that Body Slam. The energy lead or advantage was significant in this instance, but even provided that energy lead that we had, we are still going to be getting outpaced by the opponent's Abomasnow. We're going to expend our final shield. We want to do as much damage here as possible because our Altaria will be receiving 2 times or 4 times super effective damage in the back. Now, question here is, can we farm down the opponent's Abomasnow here with our Altaria? We will never know, as the opponent brings in their Jellicent. How is this matchup going to go? How much damage will the Shadow Ball do to our Altaria? Bang! It's going to be the Ice Beam, and that is just painful, as the opponent able to call game. I choose to not delay the inevitable. Well played by the opponent. The spicy moveset. Thank you for the match. Hopping into the next battle, we have a familiar lead with Altaria against our Haxorus. We know we're going to be able to outpace the opponent, reach this first breaking swipe, putting shield pressure on the opponent, and once again, they will be making a play for switch, meaning we're going to pivot into the Altaria of our own. We're going to respect the potential Moonblast here, and it will be the Moonblast. We are able to shield that move from the opponent as we do draw out their Lantern. We've seen this matchup before. Thunderbolt is going to deal respectable damage onto our Altaria, about 35% to be exact, as we will be reaching this Moonblast. We're going to go for the damage here instead of potential shields, because we have a feeling that the opponent will not be shielding, and we do want to put them in sky attack range as we do reach the next charge move before the opponent. They overform a little bit too much, able to KO the Lantern with our Altaria, and we will be greeted by the opponent's Jellicent in the back. We are able to reach another charge move here. It will be the sky attack, which will be doing valuable chip damage onto the opponent's Jellicent. This is going to be critical for us, as we know Dragonair's charge moves are all going to be resisted by the opponent. We bring in our Haxorus here because we need them to dump some of their energy. They have a ton of energy into our Haxorus. We're going to get KO'd with our Haxorus, bring in our Dragonair, respect the potential Shadow Ball here. We do get baited by the opponent. Is this going to be critical? No, they're unable to reach another charge move. And from here, it's just going to be the Altaria, as Dragonair Dragon Breaths everything down once again. We call game. Well played by the opponent. Thank you for the match, and thank you to all of my opponents today, as we had an extremely great time running this spicy triple dragon line. I call it spicy. By the end of this rotation, this Retro Cup rotation, it may not be entirely spicy, provided that nothing in the meta is resisting Dragon Breath and nothing wants to see Dragon Pokemon. I know I mentioned it in the intro, but I want to mention it once again. Thank you to Twitch chat for recommending this team, and thank you potentially to Home Slice Henry. If I grabbed your line, borrowed it from you, hopefully I did some great safekeeping, made you proud with it, and represented the line well. But if you made it this far in the video, please leave me a comment down below letting me know how Open Master League is going for you, letting me know how Retro Cup is going for you, and just letting me know how you're doing in general, and maybe how you're enjoying the videos, if you are enjoying them, or why you're not enjoying them. But that's going to be all from me. Thank you so much for stopping by. Remember to enjoy the small things. Peace.